Hi everybody, I'm here this morning in Aderet with my friend Mike Cohen who lives here. Mike, and your family, you live here. And the last time we saw each other was at the Knesset and you were giving out those beautiful nano Bible pins, which is another project that many people love about the Tanakh. Israel is the place where the Bible comes to life, and sometimes we see the prophetic miracles that are unfolding, but sometimes we have like tragedies like we had just yesterday throughout Israel. Now, Mike, you and your family had to be evacuated from your community. What is that like to be evacuated?
It depends how you look at it. Thank God we're a very strong community. We're not. We have a lot of vitality, and so for us it was an inconvenience as opposed to a. Some people take it a little harder, but for most of us it was an inconvenience for a lot of people.
And what did you do when you heard? How did you hear about the community being evacuated?
Well, I'm part of the security establishment on the Moshav, so I heard, pretty early on that it was a possibility. But what we do is we use modern technology, WhatsApp, emails, phones, and then we literally go door to door and make sure that everybody gets the message. We send extra help if somebody's kids are not home. Then they go to the kindergartens, they go and help people who are in wheelchairs or elderly. We make lists to make sure that we know where everybody is. We do it officially and unofficially.
Now, Elana, when you heard that your home was being evacuated, what was going through your mind? What did you grab?
I got a change of clothes for everybody, my son's favorite teddy bear, passports, birth certificates, and laptops, and my husband's tallis and tefillin because he had gone to help at the Ma'on with all the small children to help get them out.
And Mike, after you made sure that the children were safe, then where did you go?
Well, first I went to consult with the security mechanism of the Moshav. And when the decision was made that we have to evacuate everything, then we went and we got the Torah scrolls from the different synagogues and made sure that they were evacuated also to a safe location.
So you went to the synagogues to take the Torah scrolls?
Yes, we went to the synagogues to take the Torah scrolls and take them to another location for safekeeping.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really amazing.
But thank God they were back by morning.
And did you bring them?
Yeah, we brought them back this morning.
Wow. Now, Now, there's a lot in the Torah, right? You know, from the Nano Bible, you're a Bible scholar, a Bible.
I actually could read the Nano Bible. Most people can't do that.
Now, Mike, so what passage comes to mind when you've gone through such trauma?
Well, there's a wonderful passage in Isaiah 61, and it talks about garments of splendor. They shall be called terebinths of victory, planted by Hashem for his glory. And they shall build the ancient ruins, raise up from the desolation of old, and renew the ruined cities in the desolation of many ages. And then, of course, they talk about many of the people that are listening, about the strangers shall stand and pasture our flocks, and aliens shall be your plowmen and vine trimmers. And I know many of our friends know that passage very well. To us, the Jewish people are like trees. And that's why the first thing that the Jewish people did when they came back to the Holy Land in the late 1800s was begin to plant trees. Every Friday, every family, every Jewish family had a little blue box, and they put in their penny or their ruble or whatever it was that their local coin was, and it was sent to the Holy Land in order to build and plant trees. Israel is the only country in the world of all 197 members of the United Nations that has more trees at the end of the 20th century than it did at the beginning of the 20th century. Just like trees, the trees, we just see this whole thing, this whole forest burnt down, and it'll be back. It'll be back. Saplings will already be seen in the next winter and spring cycle. And then over the course of the next few years, our kids will watch the trees grow just as they grow. And that's how the Jewish people are. The roots are deep. You could even see the roots on the side of the road that were cut off yesterday. The roots are very deep, And it doesn't matter how much you try to get rid of us, there are always going to be, if you look at the top, there are always going to be some trees left. There are always going to be some Jews left. And by next season, we start coming back, we start replanting, we start rebuilding.
Now, Elana, you also, your son was bothered by what had happened here. Last night when you put him to bed, what was that conversation like?
He was mostly not talking about it, and then he expressed some concern about missing our house, and he was a little worried about our house. And then this morning, when we were driving back in, he wanted to know what happened to all the trees. And we talked a little bit about how Hashem created nature in a way that the forest will come back. We talked about a new growth forest, that little plants will come and trees will come back, and in a few years, it's going to start looking like it did. And it just takes some time.
It's important to know that we live right on the security fence. So for us, issues like this are in our house a regular discussion. It's a regular occurrence. We had an infiltration a few months ago.
Really?
Of six. I happened to have been at the time.
What do you mean, like six Palestinians, six Arabs?
Six Arabs.
Wow.
Came across, cut through the fence,
'Cause
came
you
through the
live
fence.
near
We live right on
the-
the fence, right near the cave of Adullam.
Wow.
And I was in New York, and it was Shabbat here already. In order not to violate Shabbat, I actually ran from New York the operation
Wow.
of protecting the Moshav here,
Wow.
because I would violate Shabbat less by using the electronics than the people that were here. It's a very, very
Yeah.
interesting modern age.
Yeah, especially in Israel.
Yeah,
where-
so our children grow up with this. Our children are very, very, very resilient.
and aware.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. You know, like you talk about the mix of sort of the natural world and the supernatural world here in Israel. And we came out here last night. I brought my children to see really what was going on. We, Israel 365, planted trees in Aderet just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we
actually.
noticed them on Shabbat.
Yeah. And so my kids know about Aderet, and then they make fun of how I say it. Aderet.
Your trees are fine.
Aderet. But our trees are fine. That's great as well.
You know what Aderet means, right?
What does Aderet mean?
Aderet is glory of God. It is the crown. It's one of the jewels. It is the type of grape. It is a type of vine.
Yeah.
One of the many types of vines, and many of the moshavim around here have vineyard related names. In Solomon, Samson was the judge here.
Right.
And even though we have over 250 boutique wineries today in the area,
Wow.
there was more wine being created here in Samson's day than even today.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. How the Bible's coming to life, and the miracles that we haven't seen since the times of the Bible are now in front of our eyes. So last night we were right here with the firemen, and he was explaining to me how they were able to get here so quickly. They called up firemen from all over the country, and they quickly used planes and helicopters and fire trucks to make sure to keep your community safe. And thank God, no homes were damaged. No people were hurt. Such a miracle.
All the pets were evacuated. Everybody.
pets.
The only ones I forgot the fish, the goldfish. I was very concerned. I forgot the goldfish.
Well, hopefully they're okay
They're
as well.
fine.
But after I talked to the fireman, so he said, well, now we have to pray. And he literally, like afterwards, he gathered all of the firemen together, and we prayed the evening service together. It was so powerful for me, because I know that at the same time there are people all over the world who are praying for Israel, and especially at times like this, you have this kind of combustible mix of very hot weather, you have very strong winds, and then you have all this flammable material because it rains so much in the winter. All of the brush has grown, now it's completely dry, and it's these wildfires are a big problem. We know that from the Moshav community. Just last month, the whole city burnt down. Thank God they learned, and they were able to act quickly, and thank you for everybody who's praying. Mike and Elana, thank you so much for sharing that powerful story with us today.
Our pleasure.